G'day, I'm Mark Latham, and today I'm giving you the story on gender equality that the mainstream media refuses to publish. Now, what is it about the mainstream media? Given a choice between their narrative about left feminism or the facts, they always choose the narrative. And we saw it again last week in Australia when the ABS, the Bureau of Statistics, published its 2017 survey of work and education. And you can see here a very stunning result. Have a look at the findings. The survey showed that the number of women holding post-school as higher education qualifications continued to grow at a much faster rate than that of men. Women have expanded the gap over men in attaining bachelor degrees and above, so university qualifications, and have caught up to men in attaining qualifications at Certificate 3 or above. So this is quite a stunning result. But try this exercise. Google the words ABS, men, women, education qualifications, and in terms of the mainstream media, you come up with zip. Absolutely no reporting of this stunning finding that the women have streaked ahead of the men in terms of education qualifications. Why isn't it being reported? It doesn't fit the narrative of gender inequality, of women being oppressed, of women falling behind men in a whole range of areas. If it doesn't fit the narrative, they don't publish the facts, and you can't get any more factual than the Australian Bureau of Statistics. It's amazing. Look at the figures here. In May 2017, 35% of women and just 28% of men had the bachelor degree or higher. And of course it was about even in 2004. Meanwhile, 61% of women and 62% of men, so about equal, had Certificate 3 qualifications. So this is a stunning change, and it just makes the point in Australia, and I'm sure other countries, that if women are streaking ahead of men in terms of education qualifications, then the natural progression of these qualifications through the workforce will give them a whole range of wonderful jobs according to their choices, the vocations that they wish to pursue. And that's what's happening. We don't need quotas and affirmative action policies and targets based on gender, all this identity politics BS. We just don't need it. Allow the system to work in its own natural way. If women in Australia each year, this is the other statistic, women in Australia each year are getting 60% of the university degrees coming through the tertiary system, men just 40%. Well, of course, they'll go ahead in the professions that they're choosing. And we know the behavioural scientists tell us that men are different to women in terms of their work preferences. Women like working with people, men much more working with things or objects. So it's hardly surprising, given this educational advantage that women have in society. They've earned it on merit, they've done the study, they've done the results, they've got the progression. Well, we've found in Australia now there are more female lawyers than men, more GP doctors female than men. Wow, how hard is it to get through a medical degree? The women are doing it for GPs in greater number than the men. It's always been that way, or long been that way for teachers, more women than men. The Australian Public Service now has many more women than men in its workforce. The ABC, the far left broadcasting corporation, they've declared gender equity in their organisation, and the big banks, Westpac, have now said that they've got half women, half men in their 6,000 management positions. So in the jobs that women want to pursue, they're going great guns, and good luck to them. That's what we want. But truthfully, if women don't want to be police officers or in the fire brigade or working in the defence force, then what do? You put a gun to their head and make them do these jobs? It's just crazy. Allow the system to progress without targets and quotas. That's the way it should be. Now, of course, you've got the lefties out there who don't accept this, they don't report it, they don't accept it, they don't know the facts and figures. Take, for instance, this goose. He's one of the great buffheads of Australian political commentary. He's always getting it wrong. Peter Van Onselen. Peter Van Onselen, we call him Peter Van Oscillator because he's always changing his position. And his latest assertion is to say that after the same-sex marriage vote in Australia, that they've got to move forward with a gender equality program. He wants to move forward, big effort in gender equality. He doesn't even realise it's been achieved in the education system and the vocations where women are wanting important, well-paid jobs for themselves. And this buffhead talks about, there it is, ingrained cultural sexism. Well, Van Oscillator, if we've got ingrained cultural sexism in Australia, how the hell did we end up with more female lawyers than men? How did we end up with more GP doctors female than men. I mean, there's no ingrained cultural sexism. All there is man toddlers like Van Oscillator sucking up to the left feminists in defiance of the facts. So it's the same old story. Given a choice between their leftist narrative and the mainstream media, these idiots like Van Oscillator, and looking at the facts, they always choose the narrative. He doesn't examine these facts, and the very fact that the ABS hasn't had these stunning results reported in the mainstream media says everything you need to know about this debate. You've heard it here on Rebel Australia, Mark Latham's Outsiders. We've given you the other side of the story that the big media houses refuse to publish. I'm Mark Latham, and you have a good day. And if you like that video, please share it with all your families and friends, and support in particular our campaign against lawfare, our fight for freedom of speech at standwithlatham.com. Standwithlatham.com.